So dear, thanks for clicking on my video. I was in grade 9, so my history teacher, she was going on about something super important, and I was also busy doodling on my friend's hand with a pen, thinking that my teacher is not noticing what I was doing. Sometimes I would act very smart, taking a kind of sneak peek at her, thinking that she's thinking that I'm taking a lot of interest in what she was teaching. But I was quite busy in painting or drawing something on my friend's hand, and lo, she at once caught me red-handed. She came up to me and called my name in front of other people, and I was really ashamed. She called up my name, and then what happened, there was a long series of scolding and what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and all went on. So I was really petrified. And then what happened, that being insulted in front of all my classmates, it was just not my thing, and I just cried my eyes out. Later on, when she bailed on me, I just thought, I just freaked out, I should have said sorry to her. So I rushed towards her. When she, gone out of the class, I rushed towards her, and she was still in the stairs, So with a, with the tears in my eye, I went up to her and said, sorry ma'am, I shouldn't have done this. I'm very sorry about, whatever I've done. And actually, I really wanted to act very smart, just wanted to prove that I'm really very, her scolding hit me hard, and I want to improve, because I wanted to make things correct. I wanted to show her that, whatever she said, it influenced me a lot, and I want to correct myself. So that is why I went up to her. But being a teacher, she understood everything, Now I realize I can relate myself with my teacher too. So she told me, look, if you're really sorry about whatever you have done in the classroom, you should have said sorry in front of other student. You should have owned up it too in front of other student. You didn't do that. When you say sorry, just you better mean it. Now I remember the thing very clearly, how difficult it was to say sorry to somebody when we do something wrong. When we apologize for our wrongdoing to somebody, it's really very difficult, because when we say sorry to somebody, we are acknowledging our mistake, and it really makes us vulnerable. We are letting other person be superior to us. So that is why it becomes very difficult for us to say sorry to somebody. And since our childhood, when we are growing, but our parents would make us say sorry to everybody, So our parents would say, go and tell sorry to her, go and say sorry to her. So our parents would make us sorry, feel sorry every time we do something wrong, So remember that every time we did something wrong, our parents would make us realize that we are in a wrong zone. We should go up to that person and say sorry to them. Sometime it happened, go and tell sorry to Rahul, go and tell sorry to Sarita. So it why we are really afraid of saying sorry to other people, because we are realizing our guilt. It instills a kind of fear inside her, making us realize that we are in the wrong zone, we did something wrong to somebody. When we say sorry to somebody, it's a kind of total surrender of ours, over somebody, and we feel that other person, what we do, that we give power to other person, So we feel that we are really vulnerable and we give power to other person. That is why we are very afraid to say sorry to somebody. But actually, what is sorry? It is a kind of healing process, When you do something wrong to somebody, you are coming with a healing process, and you want to make the thing right. You want to make the thing correct, which actually you have messed up. And you want to, simplify the thing. You want to generalize the thing. You want to make the thing real. You want to come up with your own thing, so that things become normal again. And when we say sorry to someone, when we apologize for something, it's starting of a repair process. It's a kind of safety. We want to remain in a zone which is really safe for us. We don't want to go out of the way and create a kind of conflict between us. It is for our own good also we say sorry to them, because we don't want any kind of conflict in our mind, in our brain, because what happens then, when you feel bad about something, you really can't live in peace. So that is why, sometimes when we say sorry to somebody, it's mean that we don't want to take the baggage of that, the problem, the conflict on our shoulder. We really go ahead to tell sorry to that person. It becomes very hard for us to say sorry to somebody. So when we say sorry to somebody, we really feel bad about it, because it really makes us feel bad from inside that we did something wrong to somebody. It evokes a kind of guilt or shame when we realize that we did something wrong to other person. And by nature, actually, we human beings are always, we want to keep ourselves at that height. We don't want to stoop down. We don't want to come to other person's label. If we have done something wrong to them, we don't want to compromise. Keeping on a kind of pedestal ourselves. Thinking that we are the person, we cannot do wrong to anybody. That is why it becomes very difficult for us to say sorry to somebody. It creates a kind of guilt, a kind of embarrassment for us. So we are not really ready to accept our own fault, our own guilt, and that is why it becomes very difficult for us to say sorry. Sometimes it happens that even if we feel sorry for sometimes, even if we feel sorry for some people, thinking that yes, we have done wrong to that person, we have messed up their life, we have just, screwed up their life, and we want to go ahead to say sorry to them. But, in fear of rejection, we sometimes, it's really hold us back, thinking that that person is going to accept our forgiveness or not. They might behave differently, might behave arrogantly or not accepting our forgiveness. They might behave in some other way. So these kind of things also stops us from getting ahead and say sorry to somebody if we did something wrong to somebody. So there are several label of saying forgive. There are several level of asking for forgiveness, and several reasons for not saying sorry to somebody. I even feel one thing that, sometimes it's really become difficult for us to say sorry, because we are not in the habit of pouring out our emotion in front of other people. Some people, what they do that from the very beginning, they are not, in the habit of expressing their emotions, whether it is a negative emotion or it is a positive emotion. They cannot come out with their emotion. They cannot say to other people that I'm really sorry for my wrongdoings or whatever I've done. It is not that they don't feel guilt from inside. The thing is that they cannot express their own thing. They cannot come out with their guilt. They cannot confess their wrongdoing. It is just because of their nature they cannot come out with such thing. They are not, it's not they're not feeling guilt about it, but the reason is that they are not very easy to explain their things. They are not very easy to they're not very easy to express themselves. So that is why it becomes very difficult for them to say sorry, though they feel within their heart that they should go ahead and say sorry to somebody. But by their the very nature of their they hold them back to not to say sorry to that person. It's very, very common. Some people are really very conceited and arrogant. They don't want to come up with their sorry and apology. But the thing is that it's not every time there's snootiness. Sometimes it is way more than to it. Maybe they are not able to express their thing in front of other people because of their upbringing. Maybe they have not received this kind of forgiveness in their family. They did not see any kind of remorse thing is happening in their family, or a kind of forgiveness is being exchanged in their family. Because some people, children, from the very beginning, they see their parents are constantly fighting over some issues, and the parents, they don't end up forgiving each other. So it's a kind of constant process, that you are showing your anger, you're showing your what you call arrogancy in front of other people, but you are not coming up with the solution. You're not surrendered to each other. You're not yielding. You're actually not yielding before your partner. So the child, when he or she sees the same thing happening in their house, so it really makes them really arrogant, and they don't accept this thing. They also come up with their a kind of rigid temperament, and they also become a kind of what you call a kind of difficult person to accept all these things and to go for saying sorry. So that is why it is the fault of their upbringing from the very beginning. If you see their parents, their family members are not coming up with their sorry thing, they are not stooping down, they are not yielding in front of other people, that also makes them realize that yeah, it is okay not to say sorry, whatever, it's not my fault. So that may be one of the cause for not saying sorry in a very nice way to somebody. I also believe in one thing, that expressing your guilt, it means that you're exposing yourself to some extent. Some people are not in the habit of saying sorry, but still they feel guilt from inside. Like if I talk about my husband, he's not very expressive in showing anything, neither love nor sorry or something, because it is the habit of somebody, they are not very easy to express themselves. So whenever such thing happen, and maybe I know I am always on the wrong side to do something kind of mistake, but my husband, when he feels that he did something wrong, so he come up with something different thing. His body language, his way of speaking, his whole personality changes. And it shows a kind of vulnerability, it shows a kind of guilt, it shows a kind of respect and love for me. Maybe he's not able to say sorry to me, but still I can feel that he is in a kind of guilt, and he really want to express his love for me. So that is very, very visible. It's really very visible. I can see it, I can feel it, and that is why it doesn't take long to understand it. So that is why I can feel it, and this is the reason that I don't want him to say sorry to me, because I understand by his act, his body language, his behavior, his the things which he does for me, getting out of the way, I realize that he's really feel good for me, and he's really feeling bad for the thing which he did. So that is why it is not always accepted that you say sorry to somebody by saying going up to them and saying sorry. You can do this by your behavior, by your act also, by getting out of your way and doing something nice for that person if you're very close. But this thing happens when you're very close to each other. It doesn't apply if you are saying doing something wrong to your friend or your relative or somebody, your office colleague or somebody else. But if you're very close to each other, saying sorry always doesn't work. You can show your love, your repentance, your regretness, in other ways too. There are different ways to express your things. Like in my case of my husband, I say, like in the case of my husband, what he does, that whenever he makes some mistake, he brings ice cream, want me to eat, and he does something, he cleans up the room, and it did something which you really like to accept, which I really like. So he would do something like that. So it is different thing. So what I was saying, that saying sorry, it is not always, you don't want to come up with your sorry thing, because you want you see that whatever the valid point you have raised, that is really going to Paris, that's really going to be destroyed. So that is why you don't want to come with the sorry things. I also want to tell you one thing, that sometimes it happens that you feel, from inside, that you are not wrong, you did not do anything wrong, but still you, just to avoid the conflict, you come with the sorry thing. You come up and say sorry to your friend. But, I would say that if in such situation, lying does not really works for you. Because if you say sorry and without patching up the things, without, if you're doing it without fixing the thing, now it it might pop up again in the future. So that is why when both of you are in conflict when both of you are in conflict, when both of you think that both of you are right in your own points, so don't come up with the sorry thing. It's better to sit and talk about it and decide and fix the thing. That's really going to work for you. So I remember an incident, it happened in my life that, once my best friend, she gave me a call saying that she is having a kind of party for her daughter's success. Maybe her daughter was selected for something and she wanted to celebrate it. She invited me over phone and called me 15 days before the event. She told me to come for that event and she's super excited about it. I was also very super excited to attend the party, and what I did, I told my husband, and I did some preparation for the celebration too, because I really wanted to go and attend the party and to enjoy it. And I made some preparation, I also made some preparation, some stuff for my friend's daughter's celebration party. And I also cancelled some other appointments too, because I thought that I just wanted to just to make sure that I could attend the party. And what happened, 2 days before the party, I got a call from my friend saying that, really, look, I really decided to keep the party limited to my family members, and hope you understand my situation. And I was like, I was really embarrassed, kinda, a little bit nervous too, a little bit shocked, because I've already informed my husband, my family members, my office colleague that I'm going to attend this person's daughter's party. So I remember that it created a kind of rift between us. We didn't talk to each other, and after 15 or 14 days, she came up to me. And she told me that she wanted to have a kind of talk with me, and we sat together. And then, she put her hands on mine and she started crying. I was really, I couldn't understand how to console this lady. She told me that, she already had decided to invite all the colleagues, but it happened that her husband was really adamant not to invite anyone getting out of the way, and not to invite anybody out of their family members. So I understood her situation. I said, it's okay, I'm not going to take it on my heart, and I'm okay with it. So when this kind of things, the realization or the real apology comes from the heart, you are going to accept it. You cannot ignore it, because it is really very positive things. You cannot ignore it intentionally, because what is the real worth of that person. That person feels sorry from inside, is coming with his own real self. It is not a kind of pretension, so you can understand it. So if you really want to ask for forgiveness, just be sensible to that, and always think that you are asking for forgiveness for your heart, not for the sake of making you satisfied. You are asking for forgiveness and your work is done. No, if you really feel that you need to ask for forgiveness, you want apology from that person in a sensible way, in a deep realizing the thing, you want to go ahead, then it is okay. But if you find it's a kind of superficial thing and you just want to do it just for the sake of other people's thing, if your parents want you to do it, if somebody is forcing you to say sorry, or you are just want to avoid the conflict, so that is why you want to go ahead and say sorry, don't do it. And one more thing, if you are saying sorry to somebody, you should understand the worth of it. And you have to be very serious in saying this. It's not that in a superficial way you are going and saying sorry. Because, lots of people are in the habit of saying, if you are hollow from inside, the sorry thing doesn't value to you. And you are just doing it just to avoid a kind of problem in your life, and you want to correct the thing, you make put the right thing on the right place. That is why you are asking for forgiveness. It's really not going to work for you. Some people say, I'm really sorry that you felt like this. So it is what is it? It shows that you are proving yourself generous, very kind hearted, and you are the first person to coming for asking for forgiveness, and it is other person's fault, but you are the first person to take step and to come forward to that person and say sorry. But it is not the thing. If you are not getting this remorse from inside and you are coming out with this thing, it will not work for you. It's not going to patch up the whole thing, the mess you have created. For some time it is okay that it's going to normalize everything, but for a longer period it will not work, because that person will also understand your hollowness. Some people say, I'm sorry, but then they come up with their lots of things, justifying their act, and whatever they have messed around, whatever they have done, screwed up in your life, they will come up with so many what you call explanation. So this, if you're saying sorry like this, it is really it means that you are proving you are right, you are correct in your place, the other person is wrong. So in this way, if you are asking for forgiveness, it's really it's a little awkward thing, on your part. And some people say, oh sorry, I'm really sorry, whatever I did, it was just a joke, you took it seriously, but I was not very serious about it. The thing is that if you hurt someone and you say that it's a kind of joke, so it's not really acceptable now. So that is why, be in your limit, don't hurt anybody, don't say anything which really might hurt anybody, somebody. So that is also not acceptable. So always feel one thing, that if you are sorry to somebody, if you want to say sorry to somebody, if you are very real and genuine about saying sorry to somebody, come up with this thing. Don't think about the repercussions, don't think about the consequences, that what is going to happen. You are going to prove low, you are going to stooping down, yielding in front of that person. Your entire personality is going to be low, if you're asking for forgiveness. But it is not that thing. If you really feel bad about something which you have done, go ahead and very simply ask for forgiveness. Tell them that you're really sorry about it. And I'm quite sure about it that if you do it from your heart, not pretending anything, if you do it from your heart, within your heart, very sensibly, very genuinely, the people in front of, cannot ignore it, cannot, take it as fake something, because they will understand that it is coming from right from the heart and it cannot be wrong. I have also realized one thing, that some people are in the habit of saying, okay, just forget it, what had happened here, let's start a new beginning. That is also not acceptable, because somewhere or other in your heart, that wound remains, it remains, and it again pops up, it again comes up with a new issue. So that husband wife, they are constantly fighting over some issues, or maybe the person who are in relationship, they are fighting over small issues, because they have not fixed that thing, they are not patched up that thing, they have not talked about that thing. So it's not the matter of forgetting, So if somebody says, just forget about it, let's start a new beginning. No, you need to think about it. You need to talk about it. You need to solve the issue. You need to solve the whole issue, sitting together. Then it is going to work for you. It is not that, forgetting everything and keeping in your heart, again letting it pop up and, create a kind of nuisance in your life. And at the end, I would like to tell you one thing, that if something happens in your life and you are really emotionally, genuinely, seriously, you want to make everything right, just go to that person and say sorry, just putting your heart forth, just in a very what I should say, in a very genuine way, because no one can predict that whether you will get time in future to say sorry to somebody, because we are nobody can predict where will be tomorrow and what is going to happen to us. So that is why just letting go of whatever happened in our life, So just ignore the thing and say sorry, because it makes our relationship deep. It makes our relationship worth living and profound and lovable. When you say sorry to somebody, it is not that you are at fault and you are letting that person become right. It means that you are valuing your relationship more than being right. That is the thing. So thank you so much for clicking on my video. I hope you like my videos. I would keep on coming with such a topic. Thank you so much.